Coach Tobin Anderson, welcome to the BCAM podcast.
Thanks, Mike. Great to be here.
So we have an aspiring coaches program, Coach, and one of the things we really ask them to do is crystallize their why. Why do they coach? Why do this beautiful thing in coaching?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great program. I've been an aspiring coach my whole life. I mean, I grew up being I was an aspiring player for a long time, and then I decided I wanted to be a coach. And my dad was a coach, so I grew up in a coaching household. So I think to see my father when he with his teams and the players he coached, the programs he led, to watch how he the relationships he had with the players. We had players at dinner every night. He was driving them home a lot of nights. Like there's the relationships that he had with his team. And I think part of it is the competitiveness too, to take a bunch of guys who, especially now in college, where you have guys coming in from different areas and transfers and things like that. Try to take a bunch of guys and build a program, a successful program that can win and be competitive on a daily, yearly basis. So I think that relationships are the biggest thing, but also the chance to have to be in a competitive environment and build something special.
Yeah, we have thousands of coaches in our association. You mentioned building a team.
Yep.
How do you build a team?
You're asking hopefully you're asking the right guy. We had one guy stay from last year's team at Iona, so we had 12 new guys. So it's like it's a little bit of everything, right? There's no easy answer, right? There's no like, hey, all of a sudden you're gonna walk in and one day, the next day you got a team together. It takes time. It takes the one-on-one conversations, small group conversations. It takes the once in a while going out and play miniature golf or going bowling or going to dinner or having them over my house, like the little things like that you have to do to just make them feel more at home. And it goes back to the quote, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. They gotta know you care. You gotta be around them a lot, and then each other. We're lucky in college because we have the summertime to do practice and things. They're together a lot. They go to meals on their own. They spend time together. We can choose kind of the personalities we recruit and who fits well together. But and then you have to have adversity. Like you have to. I mean, I told our guys this last year. We had a great year last year, but we also lost 15 games. You're going to lose some games. You're going to have some bad days. You're going to have some struggles. So I think Don Meyer said a long time ago, shared suffering and shared success. The shared suffering, there has to be a little bit of that going on where they're just, things didn't go well. Now, what do we do now? How do we fight back? And to fight back, you've got to be together. Mm-hmm. Not just the players, but the players, the coaches, and the players together. So I think it's a lot that goes into it. And listen, I'm always looking for more answers and more ideas and more thoughts. And so we're always trying to figure out better ways of doing it. But I think we found I've had 3 jobs in 3 years, so I think I've gotten better at it. I'm not saying I'm good at it, but I think I've gotten better at it.
I would say so. So if there was a young coach who was talking to you and they asked, I want to have a long, distinguished coaching career.
Yep.
What advice would you give that coach?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is like back to relationships, right? You have to form those relationships. You got to meet people. You got to be a people person, because whether it's in high school, my dad was a high school coach, like I said, for 30 years. Like you get along with the fellow teachers, the parents, the administrators. In college, it's the administrators, it's the recruits, it's the parents of recruits. So you got to have a relationship. You got to be a good person, do the right thing, and you got to work. We all know it's not a 9-to-5 job. Like it's not like we're working at a bank. We're at 5 o'clock. We all are at 4:45. You all take off and go home for the weekend. I mean, there's times you're going to get home at 2 a.m. from a recruiting trip or a scouting trip or from practice. There's times you're going to have to do the laundry and wash the jerseys and do all that kind of stuff. So you got to be willing to do a little bit of everything, especially when you start out. I mean, listen, there's starting jobs now that are making 15 times the amount of money I was making. I was a Division III head assistant coach making $3,000 my first job, and I loved it, and I did everything. And then you do a little bit, and then as time goes on, you get hopefully a little more experience and a little more responsibility. But you got to be willing to work and spend the extra hours, and the relationships are so important. And be good at what you're good at. I mean, like we are basketball coaches, right? Your clinic is fantastic. I'm excited to be here today because I get a chance to learn from Greg Gard and Wes Miller and the Rochester team. And you get one thing here, one thing there. You got to learn coaching and teaching and what you want to do and be good at it and find ways of being successful. And you learn all the time. I mean, I think I've become a better coach there's so much out there with the internet and podcasts and things like that, you can get all that information, and it's into how you use that information. But you gotta be willing to work extra hard and learn more and do all the extra things. But I tell you what, it's a special profession, as you know. It's great to be around young guys on a daily basis. And I was telling a coach out there, it's like the kids, they stay the same age, and I get older. So you got to adapt. You got to adapt and be flexible, and you can't always stay the same. You know, things are always changing. So you got to be open to change.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining the BCAM podcast.
Well, you guys do a great job. I was watching before I got out here. You do an unbelievable job. So I'll be following all the time. Congratulations. Great job.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, man.
My name is Dan Young. I am the Executive Director of BCAM, the Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan. We are the largest coaches association in the United States. We believe that better coaching always matters. It's a really difficult time to be a coach, but at the same time, it has never been more important time to coach. We couldn't serve our coaches without the support of our sponsors: Rawlings, Huddle, Shoot Away, United Dairy Industry of Michigan, Ballogy, Game One, Barron Rings, Coaches Insider, Gatorade, and the Detroit Pistons. We encourage our members and listeners to support those who support us.